Breakout or takeout.
Hi, welcome to Flash Fantasy. Today, we're going to be breaking down some players and deciding whether or not they're a breakout or a takeout. So, let's dive into this list, Dennis. The first one I have on here is Clyde Edwards-Helaire. What do you think?
Name? Yeah, the name. I mean, good name. Solid team, solid player. I believe. I just want to read. I want to read off what they, so they got some pros and cons to this guy. And one of the things that I love to hear is, I've always been a type of guy, kind of like a Le'Veon Bell, patient runner, somebody that's waiting for the blocks to develop and then you run through. And they got one of the things is he's a patient runner, follows his blocks well, and allows them to create space before he makes his move. Probably one of the best things, a good quality, one of the best qualities I can see. Again, listen, whether it's 10 yards every snap or whether it's 3 or 4 yards, as long as you're moving the chains, you're doing something right. And he did that without a doubt, consistently at LSU. Now you got the Chiefs, different set. Again, Damian Williams, great running back, solid as far as, if you need an RB2. They thought it could be an RB1. It just didn't turn out that way. A lot of injuries. Smaller back, too. I think Hilaire, if I'm not mistaken, too, is 5'9", too. So he's not on the tall side. Stocky back though. I think he's a little bit more stockier than Williams over there. So I think long term wise, I think he'll hold up a lot better than Williams will. But one of the cons that they had and this is the thing everybody wants. And again, it's cons, pros and cons. I mean, look what they said about Brady. Brady, can't throw. He doesn't have a strong arm and things like that. The guy was still able to produce. Again, these are all cons, but it's something that we should address. They had on the cons list that one of the things is that he doesn't have the surest hands. He'll miss some easy drops, things that are kind of frustrating. Maybe it's that picking up that first down, maybe a little drop there. Again, didn't see too much of it at LSU, but there are some cases where he did make some easy drops. Also, too, they're a little skeptical about the pass blocking. Being able to pick up the blocks a little bit. Just little things like that as a rookie. We think he's going to come in and just take over right away. But it's going to be things that, again, they see on tape and something that he's going to have to clean up. If he's got the right attitude, I think he can go to camp, figure it out, figure out the schemes, figure out what he needs to do, get a little bit stronger and figure out a better way to block. Not too much that I saw, but just something that's out there or something that's around his name right now is the passing protection. They're a little worried. And I don't know about you, but that's probably one of the biggest things with these running backs too. Yeah, you can run the ball, but are you going to be in fantasy football? Are you every down back? Or are you just coming in little time, a couple downs here and there? So I want volume. I don't want that home run just here and there. I need volume. I'm more comfortable with volume. So right. Can he do something? Yes. I'm still up and down. I mean, I'm gonna have to lean towards probably just having an average. I can see just having an average season this year. I'm not too all in on the Edwards-Helaire bandwagon.
Yeah. I think with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we could definitely see something good. But I mean, you gotta remember, Damian Williams. This is his second year with the offense. So he's getting that rapport with Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, he put out a statement after winning the Super Bowl of I'm getting the hang of reading defenses, which is crazy. Yeah, bro. I think Damian Williams is still gonna have a role though with this offense. I don't think they're just gonna give up on him. He showed up in the Super Bowl in the postseason, and I think they're gonna try and get him his targets. So I think that takes away from Clyde Edwards-Helaire's target value, and a lot of people are targeting him between the second and third round. And I'm not paying for a rookie's ceiling most of the time, unless I have the confidence that they're going to come in and be that number one guy that the backfield's all theirs. Someone like I don't know, when Saquon Barkley came to the Giants, that's a guy that I'm willing to invest early in, you know. But I don't see Clyde Edwards-Helaire being a Saquon Barkley, and I don't see him finishing with the top 10 like most of these guys. So that's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say he's a fake out, not a breakout. Um,
Yeah, I hear you.
so let's move on to our next guy, Deontay Johnson. You know, I mentioned this to one of our other team, our crew members, and he said, "Who's that? Who's that guy?"
I did
What?
take myself. I had to do a little double take myself.
Yeah,
So
this is a guy. He was hurt on and off last year, but he still played most of the season. And not to mention, he played almost all year with Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph throwing the ball, and like he had a groin injury. If you check out our Instagram at the Flash Fantasy, you see I made a little post about the groin injury, and now he recovered from that. But I mean, Deontay Johnson to me is just a like superb talent. Like you look at, I've been watching this guy's college highlights, bro, and you know that's a bad thing to do, to be honest with y'all. Like you watch one highlight reel and you're like, this is the guy. I gotta draft him. But you gotta find those like videos where he's making those mistakes. And you know what's crazy? Little sidetrack, but I watched the Chris Carson highlight video. You know what's so funny, bro? He fumbled so many times last year that it's in his highlights.
I tell you right now, listen, I'm staying away. I'm staying away, and I'm staying away.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't tell you. Pete Carroll's. You know, I'll tell you, he's on a short leash. I mean, last year we saw it all. Last year, get a short leash. He kept on playing, but I think Pete Carroll can only take so much of that fumbles. But
Yeah, but
no,
let's try
no.
back to Deontay Johnson. And last year he had 59 receptions for 680 yards and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns on a rookie year. I mean, with barely like a subpar quarterback, two of them. I mean, when your quarterback's name is Duck, I mean, you got some problems behind the realm. So, yeah, but I just think with his speed, his talent, that was his first year, and now we got Chase Claypool coming in. Juju can go back into the slot. Big Ben's throwing the ball more precise and more downfield throws. You can get James Conner finally healthy. I mean, the Steelers last year were just plagued with injury, bro. All the way down to their third string running back getting injured. I thought they were about to go pick up somebody off the street and put him in running back. So for me, I'm putting Diontae Johnson as a breakout this year. Top 15, top 20 wide receiver.
If I had a rubber band, I'd keep stretching it. Keep stretching it, you know. And listen, good talent. Again, good talent. We don't know what's going to happen when Big Ben comes in, right? You got all these guys. I mean, it's tough. Juju's getting double teamed. Juju's not healthy. You know, Juju got a couple injuries and stuff. So especially when you don't got Big Ben throwing the ball, when you don't have Big Ben throwing the ball, I'm gonna double team, or maybe stick a little bit tighter on Schuster and leave somebody open. Somebody had to eat. You know, and the thing is that if we're looking at those games that he played or the games, he broke out towards the end of the season. I think it was the last 4 games where he just started going on a rampage and stuff like that. But he only led the team in receiving in 3 games. You got Diontae, Washington led, I think, 5 games. Juju also led, I think it was around 5 games, if I'm not mistaken, as far as receptions, receiving, things like that. But, a lot of it just came towards the end, and you got Chase Claypool now coming in. If you can get a healthy James Conner, you don't know what's going to happen. You said the name. I'm afraid I'm kind of shocked we're not talking about him, but I think everybody's going to put him under the radar. This Chase Claypool guy, man, I love me a little miniature Megatron. I know that's early to call. I love the size. I like the guys with freakish bodies. Now, again, DK Metcalf, he's got that, but something about Chase Claypool. The reason why I bring him up is because there's a lot of weapons there, and Big Ben's going to have to find somebody. Again, you like the speed. I think Jason brought up something. You watch the college highlights. It's easy to get dazed. It's easy to get dazed, but there's plenty of college players that go through the college process, do phenomenal, and next thing you know, they get there. I mean, how many number 1 busts have we seen before? Heisman trophies just go down the drain. Hoping Baker's not that, by the way. But just going back to Johnson, he's got potential. But I don't think he's making – I don't think he's – I think this – again, and it's not off the talent. I think there's just too much talent in that team. I think there's just too much talent. I think the ball's going to be spread out a little bit more, and I just don't see him again. If 4 games at a 60, again, you got Mason Rudolph, you had Big Ben throwing for a little bit, and then you get all these people. But long story short, 4 games leading the team. I don't think that's enough. And again, 4 games towards the end of the season, we don't know who's starting what, how many games were, crucial games at that time. I mean, we're talking about, trying new systems if the guys aren't making it towards the playoffs and things like that. I mean, you're going to start, trying to find out who's going to be your next option the following year. And I think that's probably what he got. But keep an eye on it, guys. If it's a dynasty league, if you're jumping into dynasty league, hold on to him. You never know. It could be a trade. It could be something, maybe somebody gets injured. He's the next guy up again.
Right.
I could easily see him getting in that role and then just taking, giving you consistent, I would say, wide receiver 2, maybe high. I mean, I would say, no, actually lower wide receiver 1 numbers. I'd say put yourself on a high 2, wide receiver 2 with this guy.
So let's now that we've added Norris to the group, let's talk about Juju Smith-Schuster, Diontae Johnson's teammate. There's been some talks through the team and through the league about him going back into the slot. Personally, I think that's gonna favor his position. He's gonna get less people covering him, but he's gonna get those people like Darius Slay that are gonna cover him in the slot. He's gonna get those cornerbacks that are gonna be that 1 or 2 for the team and still be excellent and covering them. And I think that was a big problem with him last year, is he was either double teamed, because I mean you don't have to worry about anybody else getting the ball compared to Juju on that team last year. But that's what gave Deontay Johnson his role. So now that they've seen a little bit of stuff from Deontay Johnson, Big Ben is back in the mix. They're going to be trying to take the top off of defenses. They're probably going to be trying to cover more in cover 2, maybe cover 3. Trying to get those wide receivers to mess up. But I think overall Juju's poised to have a great year this year. I could see him definitely finishing within the top 15. So I'm going to say breakout this year. Even though Juju's rookie year and his sophomore year was kind of his original breakout, after last year, I think he needs another one.
Yeah, I can agree. On that. He needs to do something. Let's just get that out there. I mean, I don't think he can afford to have another year like he had last year. Going from 111 targets to, I think, if I'm not mistaken, moving over to 42 targets the following year. Again, we're talking about quarterbacks. Let's remember this too, and I know how to bring this up with Johnson. Ben's problem was, if I'm not mistaken, it was the arm, his throwing arm. If I'm not mistaken, was it the elbow? Tommy John? He ends up getting the Tommy John on it, if I'm not mistaken. Good thing. Okay, let's look at the pros on that. I mean, if you look at all these, if you switch over to baseball a little bit, not that this is a baseball podcast or anything, but Tommy John surgery used to be almost career-ending. I think we're past that now. So that's the good thing. That's a good thing. But nevertheless, it's still an injury to probably one of the most important parts of the body that's going to be used more frequently than a lot of other parts. I mean, besides the legs are always moving. But again, that arm, that elbow, how long is he going to last? And then again, if we're getting another quarterback, if we're getting back another Mason Rudolph, or we're getting back another not so top tier quarterback, what's Juju's value? That's what I'm worried about. You talk about quality, you want to talk about performance, you want to talk about the skills. He's got it all. And the unfortunate thing, guys, is sometimes you can be probably one of the best skilled players on your teams, but it's the actual, the talent that you have around you too. It's what's around you. If they can't give you anybody, you can only do so much. And I think, as far as, again, if I'm picking Juju, I'm not reaching. I'm not reaching second round. I'm not reaching third round. I think right now we got to look in perspective that he's probably a fourth rounder. Fourth rounder, high fourth round. Maybe, if you're stretching a little bit, I mean, maybe, low third. But I don't think you guys should change the expectations. Again, maybe I'm negative Nancy over here. Everybody's been a not so breakout guy, But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm overlooking it. It's definitely possible, but I'm pretty sure. I'm just worried about what's going to happen. Can he be there? Again, I'm talking about Chase Claypool again. Nobody wants to understand that. I'm giving out information here about guys that I might draft. Norris, cover your ears. Chase Claypool, Chase Claypool, Chase Claypool. If I like a guy, I say it 3 times. It's like the boogeyman. So it's just things like that. It's just like things like that. Chase Claypool, a lot of talent over there. Can they stay healthy over there in Pittsburgh? That's probably been an issue for them for a little bit now. So I'm going to have to go with keeping a low expectation right now on Juju. I'm not. I think he gives us something, guys. It's not that breakout rookie year. Maybe close, not that breakout rookie year. I can't see it happening. Got to see what Big Ben does first.
So you wouldn't put him in your top 20?
Top 20, yes. Top 20. I could see him easily top 20. I can't see him past. And I gotta swallow that. I gotta swallow it. I can't see him past top 15. I can't see him doing any better than top 15. Any better than 15 or better than that. It's gotta be either 15 or higher.
All right, so let's make this a weekly wager right now. I bet you Juju Smith-Schuster finishes in the top 15.
Well, weekly wager meaning what? I give you my kid if I lose?
No. We'll figure that out. Are you down? You down to take it?
I'll take it. I'm under. No better than 15. He will not do any better than 15. And again, I'm negative Nancy.
I'll take that action.
Don't get me started on this.
If he finishes a wide receiver 16, I'm going to be upset.
Yeah. You might be.
Okay. What about you, Norris?
15, I still win.
Yeah. Negative Nancy, I mean, I'm not too far off of your insight. I think, but the difference is that with a healthy Ben, I think that he does break top 15.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't have Ben Roethlisberger throwing to him, bro, we saw him finish wide receiver 63 last year out of 12 games. So I don't see the big breakout that he sees for himself. Or, there's like this promo video of Ben Roethlisberger saying, "I'll never cut my beard until I throw the ball again to my teammates." And then we see the whole process take place. And, Juju is running routes and Ben Roethlisberger is throwing the ball and whatnot. That looks great when you don't have 325 pound defensive linemen coming at you that run 4.7s in a 40. So we'll see what happens, man, when he starts taking those hits. But as far as Juju, you can't really make solid projections without looking at the situation of Ben Roethlisberger. Like you mentioned, that surgery to his elbow and whatnot, that is crucial. It is crucial. And honestly, my instincts tell me that we won't see Ben Roethlisberger play every game this upcoming season. That's just my feeling. That's based on the trend of athletes that has had this surgery. So we'll see what happens with Juju. I don't think he's going to jump from wide receiver 63 to 13. I definitely don't see that happening. But top 20, I'll give him that. I'll give him that because he knows just as well as anybody that he has got to do so much this year. And I mean, he should be grateful that they have a solid running game so that he can be able to be open, and not all of the attention is on him. But yeah, like Dennis mentioned, the amount of catches and whatnot that he saw in 2018, where he had that 1,400-yard performance and 7 touchdowns. Yeah, again, unless we have a healthy Ben to look at, he's not touching that. He is not touching 1,400 and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, I think that's like a solid analysis. Like I don't think he's gonna go back to it, but somewhere around there. I mean, that year he finished ninth or eighth PPR ranking. So I don't know so much about top 10, but I could see somewhere around it. So maybe 6 touchdowns, maybe 1,100 yards, some good receptions. But like you said, Big Ben is a big piece out there. I guess I'm just the optimist out here, y'all. I'm listing breakouts for me.
Yeah,
So
let's
go
not
ahead.
forget he had AB taking a lot of the pressure off of him. And,
Right.
man, I hate to say it because I know Juju's trying to get off that name, but gosh.
Just wait. Give
He
him
did
this
have,
year.
he did
It's
have the
true.
help of AB.
It's
Just
true.
give him this year. Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool, like you said, they're monsters. They got the size on them too. Don't let it fool you.
Claypool.
Don't get too high. Don't get too high on Diontae Johnson. Don't get too high on him.
Oh man, yeah, we could fight over that. So next breakout, we're gonna talk about breakout or takeout, David Montgomery, yo. I mean, if you know my sleeper picks for the running backs, it's David Montgomery all the way. I'm gonna be like Dennis here, David Montgomery, David Montgomery, David Montgomery. Uh, I'll scoop him up in the fourth round every draft I possibly can. Uh, and I mean, I think he's set up to. He started like taking off last year. I mean, last year was his rookie year, and it wasn't his best year overall. But I mean, it was a solid showing, and his talent speaks for itself. He's a beast when he has those touches. If he can get some volume in his running game, he's gonna take off with that fantasy game. I mean, looking at his finish last year, yeah, he finished 24th, and for a breakout running back, you want that top 10. I think he slides right in. I think he fits at number 10 spot, just barely fits in. He gets like 200. I'm projecting him for 250 rushing attempts and about 1,000 yards and maybe 6 or 7 touchdowns because he's the goal line back. You ain't gonna throw Tariq Cohen and trying to run him through, like Norris said, 375-pound defensive ends. That's David Montgomery territory all over. Now, if they can get his receptions up, he'll be golden. He'll be set. But overall, I think David Montgomery could have a great year. This is his breakout year. From going from a rookie to a sophomore, I think this is his breakout year.
You're gonna make people hate me in this podcast. I mean, you're just making me look like the bad guy here. David Montgomery. Okay, we'll talk about value. Can he get the value? Right? Can he get the value over there, Chicago? Can they get something sturdy for him? So those are the things I'm looking forward to. I haven't heard anything as far. I know they're planning to use him more. They did towards the end of the season too. He was getting more reps. Good, great. It's all about touches too. If you want the touches, David Montgomery, I honestly feel he's going to get the touches. Now, top 10, I think there's just way too much talent out there for top 10. I think there's just these running backs. I mean, I know, guys, listen, if you guys get a chance, anybody listening to this right now, we got a top 10 running back list. I think you should go ahead and listen to it. But even then, I got a hard time of David Montgomery making it past some of those guys. Even though Aaron Jones stay out of my list, I can't see him probably doing any better than Aaron Jones. And solid. I mean, it's again, what are we looking for? What are we looking? We're looking for top 20. We're looking for top 20 running backs. You're gonna get top 20. Yeah, absolutely. I think top 20 running back, absolutely. Stocky guy. Thing is that even between the tackles, I think sometimes he gets a little shifty. I don't know if you guys saw it. He tries to get a little shifty, and he can get caught, guys. I don't know if you see. He doesn't have breakaway speed. He doesn't have that. I mean, something you look for too. I mean, not that everybody does, but he doesn't have breakaway speed, and it just seems sometimes he gets a little shifty for me. I love it. I love the energy. I love the fact that he can, try to produce that, try to get a little bit more. But I've always been, I'm probably maybe an old school running back. Give me Ed Dickerson up there and just, I think it's the 42 gap. I think that's what they call it, 42 gap, and just get out of the way. Mm-hmm. Just get out of the way and let him run you over. Now, don't get me wrong. Ed was shifty. Ed was a little shifty, but you give him that 42 gap. he'll take it down. He'll take it down the lane right there. So, but David Montgomery, guys, again, it's okay. I mean, I don't see how you can't go after David Montgomery in the third or fourth round. Breakout player, if we're talking top 20 running back, absolutely. Absolutely. I think he does. I think he does a lot better than what he did last year. So if you're looking for a running back that's going to get volume, go ahead. I don't think they're going to be using Tariq Cohen the way they used him last year. So I think it's safe to say you can go ahead and pick Montgomery safely, just top 10. I think you push it back a little bit. Don't reach too much for that top 10. But I'll pass that over to Norris there.
Yeah, sure. He's definitely he's not a bad pick, but takeout. He's not breaking top 10. He's not breaking top 10. And you mentioned red zone. He had 7 straight games with 0 rushing touchdowns. In each of those games, he had plenty of attempts, and we see guys like Taylor Gabriel that get those 1-yard touchdowns, 3-yard touchdowns. Like the offense that they have set up out there, I don't think it's the Chicago Bears that we want to see. They're shifting in the way that they're approaching. They're not run. I mean, he had 242 attempts, last year, which is good. But the thing is, when you have a quarterback like Mitch Trubisky and, you got Allen Robinson and whatnot on the outside, they're trying to utilize all of their weapons. And I don't think David Montgomery is like someone that they're going to be like, oh, okay, this is our Adrian Peterson. We're going to feed him and feed him and feed him and feed him. He's good. He's good. He had 6 touchdowns on the run game, 1 receiving touchdown. That ties with the most scores, out of the whole offense. Allen Robinson had 7 as well. So he is a key part, and that's why he would be a safe pick. But for the sake of having a running back that you should expect to, quote unquote, break out, he's not the one name that I'm putting in a list of breaking out. It was his rookie year, and it's encouraging to see. But if you're, for Jason's liking, he loves dual threats of almost every position. He had 35. Yeah, he had 35 targets with 25 catches last year. That's not something that you're going to sell for a breakout player, because that offense isn't geared for that. That's why they have guys like Tariq Cohen, to be the receiving guy. So that's my take on it. I'm not a fanatic or advocate, for that matter, of David Montgomery.
Yeah, that's even with Nick Foles as a backup. I mean, we're pretty sure we're going to get Nick Foles in there. But I don't know. I think we'd probably get a little bit more thrown with Nick Foles in there instead of David Montgomery running it down. Probably save him for maybe later on in the playoffs if they can make it there. But I could definitely see Nick Foles throwing the ball a little bit more than just taking that up the gap and try to let Montgomery take control or all that. But he's capable, guys. He's a big enough back to take over. I could definitely see him maybe getting 300 rushes, 300 attempts. I could see it. I mean, he's got the physique. I think he could take it. And again, volume's always going to produce. It's just to what degree. I think any time you give me 300, attempts, probably get you 30 yards. But hey, it's volume, baby. It's all about volume.
All right. So Dennis has agreed to get hit by a linebacker once and see if he'll fumble the ball. And now we got to give him 300 attempts in the NFL to see if he'll give us more than 30 yards.
Sign me up, Goodell. I'm cheap. 100,000 a year. 100,000 a year. I'll take 300 snaps.
You know how many people would love to be in the NFL? Love to be. So let's move on to our last guy. And guys, it's gonna be a full sweep for me on the breakout because our last guy is Hayden Hurst. He got signed to Atlanta, and he got traded to Atlanta, I should say. And Matt Ryan has nothing but praise for this guy. I mean, he put out a comment the other day about he's one of the fastest, best tight ends that he's ever worked with. I mean, ever worked with. You just saw Austin Hooper last year, and Matt Ryan saying that he's better than Austin Hooper. Like, that's something for me. And with Austin Hooper gone, I mean, and Devonta Freeman gone, like, you got targets. Now, we know Todd Gurley's going to come in there. He's going to catch some balls, run some balls, of course. He might fill a little bit more of that Devonta Freeman role. But, I mean, you had Mohamed Sanu leave last year, which is a ton of targets that we're going to see spread out, I think, between Calvin Ridley and Hayden Hurst. I love Calvin Ridley this year, but Hayden Hurst, I think, with just like the tight end that he is, he was drafted. You know, if you look back at it, guys, he was drafted before Lamar Jackson was to the Ravens. I mean, that's crazy. They were about to just stick with Hayden Hurst, but they traded up to get Lamar, thankfully. Because I can only imagine what would happen if Lamar went to another place. But anyways, yeah, and to quote the Falcons quarterback, he said, he's a mismatch problem for our opponents. And Hayden Hurst and him have been driving from his home in Jacksonville to Atlanta to hold out workout sessions with Matt Ryan. So they're already building that chemistry. They're already building that bond. I mean, he said, I've been incredibly impressed with his work ethic. He fits in well with the group of guys we have. I mean, that's not a quarterback looking at his next tight end. I don't know what it is, guys. I'm putting Hayden Hurst. Now hear me out. I'm putting Hayden Hurst finishing in the top 3 tight ends this year. Top 3. I think he finishes right. I think, and this is a crazy order, y'all, so hear me out. I think number 1, George Kittle. Number 2, Mark Andrews. And number 3, Hayden Hurst. That's where I'm putting him.
All right. I think you're good.
I'm putting him over Travis Kelce this year.
I guess Patrick Mahomes is just going to not play this year.
You got to put Kelce up there. You definitely got to put Kelce. I like George Kittle. Let's not forget about the Walrus either.
Yep. But Darren Waller's up there. Waller's up there.
Don't forget about the Walrus. I mean, again, the guy snags things. So, let's talk about what he's replacing. Hayden Hurst. I think this is what we're looking at. Hayden Hurst is coming in after a guy, Austin Hooper. 75 receptions, 700 yards, 787 yards, close to 800 yards, 6 touchdowns. Okay? Not bad for a tight end. I mean, we all know if you don't get that top tight end, we know what we're getting. You know, we're scavenging. I take that any day of the week. You need a tight end spot. Austin Hooper was the guy last year. And again, not top. I don't think he was top. I think he was top 7 in his position, if I'm not mistaken. Austin Hooper's 40 on the combine, 4.72. Hayden Hurst, 4.67. 4.6 from a tight end. It's not bad. Not bad at all. So I can see where Matt Ryan, after seeing a 4.7 and then seeing a 4.6, I can see the difference. But again, I think he's got great talent. I mean, he's a first rounder. We're talking about a first rounder here 2 years ago, right? First rounder 2 years ago. There just was no use. There was no use for him. Again, in Baltimore, you got Mark Andrews came in last year and just didn't get the opportunity there. But Matt Ryan utilizes, I think Hayden Hurst definitely finishes in the top 10 breakout, because last year he wasn't anything. I think he's a breakout this year. I think you could easily slide him in as a tight end and not have to worry week to week, see if he's going to produce. I think you're going to get good numbers from him, solid numbers. I mean, again, there's going to be times when you get tight end 1 numbers. You know, I can definitely see that. I think we're going to keep it. I think we're going to keep it tight end 2 though. Tight end 2, you know, if you're drafting, you're trying to put them on tiers, I'd put them in the tier 2. Tier 2, tier 3, I mean, low tier 2, high tier 3. That's where I'm keeping them. Again, we want to get value here. You know, there's still Darren Waller out there. I think I'm more comfortable playing Darren Waller right now at this point. Definitely more comfortable playing Kelce. Now we just got to decide what are we going to do with Gronkowski, right? Now we got to figure out what we're doing with Gronkowski. I'm pretty sure he's going to go a little bit higher than Hayden Hurst in the drafts. I don't see why. I don't know what we're going to get from Gronk. Again, I'm a Patriots fan. You know, we had him even towards the back end of the career. We can't get him healthy either. I mean, that was the biggest thing is, can he play 16 games? So Hayden Hurst is going to play 16 games. I absolutely believe it. I think he's going to give you quality numbers. Breakout absolutely this year, 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's going to definitely be a breakout. And a big testament can be made, obviously, to his skills and the fact that Matt Ryan does have a history of loving his tight ends. But also, it's a big testament to having a great receiving core. I think that's going to be a great advantage, to see Calvin Ridley, Julio Jones, taking most of the attention. And now you have Todd Gurley, who, regardless of the hesitation or skepticism that people may have, going into the season about his knee and whatnot, he's still a guy that you have to worry about with receiving and running. So I think it's going to be a breakout season for Hayden Hurst. And that offense on paper is looking phenomenal, But one thing that the Dallas Cowboys has always taught me is that when you look at the rosters on the team, you have got to just wait and see what happens, because on paper, the Dallas Cowboys should have won multiple Super Bowls in the past 12 years,
Coaching? Is it coaching?
Hey, it's a lot. It's a lot.
I mean, Dan Quinn is on the hot seat last year and this year. Like, we don't know. Like, he could be the first coach fired this year. So
yeah, it's a lot. But that's my take on it. I think the receiving core is definitely going to be a great advantage to him having a successful season this year.
Awesome. Well, that does it for our breakout and takeout. Thank you guys for joining us and listening in. Make sure you check us out on, if you're listening on our podcast, check us out on YouTube. And if you're listening on YouTube, check out our podcast. Follow us on Instagram at The Flash Fantasy. We also have a Facebook page right now. You can check us out at Flash Fantasy, or Twitter at Flash Fantasy FB. So we're getting out there. We're getting to social media. Give me some time. I'm working on a website, y'all, and we can get that up for you guys too. Thanks for joining us.
Subscribe.